Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Wolfelt, and I serve as director of the Center for Loss and Life Transition. It's located in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm so honored to provide you with a new program that I've titled The Art of Cherishing During the Holiday Season. Perhaps you're aware that the word bereavement literally means to be torn apart, to have some very special needs. When someone loved dies, the holidays can naturally bring a heightened sense of loss and sadness. Yes, the heart of the holidays has been torn apart. However, it's my belief and my experience that if you use this time of the year to actively and intentionally allow yourself to mourn, to take your thoughts and feelings from the inside to the outside, you can continue to integrate your grief into your life. Well, I often say that if you mourn well, you can go on to live well and to love well. To me, this is the time of the year to do just that, because it was Thomas Kempis who years ago, he observed that if you live very long at all on this earth, there's going to be times that you have what he beautifully called proper, and I emphasize the word proper sorrows of the soul. Well, without doubt, the holidays are in part one of the times that we appropriately have some proper sorrows of the soul. This time of the year is an instinctive time to hold dear those that have gone before us. Because after all, as has been so well said, death ends a life, not a relationship. If you're in any way like me, you probably consistently feel your love for the people in your life that have died. You see a certain object, you smell a certain scent, maybe you hear a certain sound, and you're reminded of the person that was so much an important part of your life. And those experiences, they're a reflection of our love. Your heart twinges, at times we cry, at times we smile. You spend time giving attention to your need to feel your love and missing the presence of someone that brought so much to the dance of your life. The love and the grief, naturally, it ebbs and flows, it comes and goes. It's beautiful, it's tender. It's a true reflection that your love continues even in the face of life losses. This year, I've decided to dedicate my time with you to introducing you to the idea of cherishing during the holiday season. To cherish means to protect and care for lovingly. It means to hold dear. It's the art of actively engaging with your everlasting love in meaningful, in purposeful ways. Cherishing is intentionally creating moments to acknowledge and embrace your ongoing love. Cherishing also has to do with having gratitude. Because when we cherish, we're honoring the relationships we've had and how they've mattered to us and how they continue to matter to us. Yes, death ends a life, not a relationship. We're now taking pause as we cherish to remember and to express our appreciation. In my small book, Cherishing, the Art of Fully Living While Still Loving and Honoring Those Who Died, I outlined 6 opportunities for cherishing. And what I thought might be helpful is to share just a few of the many ideas from that new resource with you during the holidays. So allow me the privilege of doing so. One of the areas I write and teach about is the opportunity for us to cherish stories of love and loss. So one idea is to consider writing down in this area of some stories of the person's life. You can select to read one out loud at an appropriate time sometime during your holiday gathering. Or you could compile the stories into a book form, have it printed, give copies of that resource to your family and your friends, and they too would be able to honor and remember this special person. Another idea is to think about making a ritual of visiting the grave or the scattering site or any special place that you associate with the person who died. When you're there, consider holding a ritual of some kind. For example, you might bring fresh flowers. You might read something that you've written or reflect on a poem that speaks to your heart. Perhaps you can consider closing this ritual in some way with maybe a prayer, an affirmation, or sharing a piece of music. There's the opportunity to also cherish your pain because, of course, in befriending our pain, it reflects that our love continues. So let's look at a few ideas there. Sometime during the holidays, you should consider the possibility to listen to a song that speaks to both your sense of loss as well as to your love. You can cry if you feel like crying. You can smile if you feel like smiling. And then find someone you can talk to who will be understanding and supportive of how that song helps you cherish the person who has died. Another idea in this area is to engage yourself with an activity or an organization or a volunteer effort that you associate with the person who died. As you take part in that activity, keep something with you that reminds you of them, whether that's a picture or some other form of what we commonly call a linking object that connects you to them. Tell someone else about the person who died and how this activity and your participation in it helps you honor and cherish them. There's also, of course, the opportunity to cherish your memories. Consider putting together a photo album that captures the person's life, as well as their unique personality and their interests, their hobbies. Choose some of your favorite photos. Consider adding captions with maybe dates and places and other helpful information. If some of your family or friends have photos, perhaps they'll want to contribute. And we find this often can be a very helpful group activity. Another possibility is to make a gratitude jar for the holidays. Whenever you remember something about the person who died that makes you feel grateful, jot it down on a piece of paper, put it in the gratitude jar. Invite friends and families to do the very same thing. At an appropriate time, gather everybody together and read the slips of paper out loud. There's also the opportunity to cherish who you are, both past and present. You love somebody who died, and hopefully in turn they loved you. You cherish yourself through the eyes of that person who died, which can be a way that it's an important aspect of your cherishing practices. So you can take the opportunity to ask yourself things like, what did they love about you? What would they love about you today if they could see you now? I strongly believe that living the best life you can, being the best person you can, knowing that none of us are perfect and we'll make errors and we'll put our foot in our mouth at times. That's part of being human. But if you can live the best life you can, that helps you fulfill this aspect of cherishing. Ask yourself, what can you do now and what will you continue to do in the future that allows that person who's gone before you to be proud of you? Think about the option of making time to, this time of year, write a letter to the person who died, and how you're taking care of yourself can kind of be a theme of that letter, because it's so important that we be self-compassionate, not only during the holidays, but throughout the year. One of the biggest challenges many people in grief have is being self-compassionate, caring for yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. Well, when you write that letter, you can update them on things that you know that they might like to hear about. Share your struggles and challenges you may be encountering, but also I remind you to look for ways that they'd be proud of you, yourself, particularly the things you're doing kind of in honoring of them, of cherishing them. And by the way, if you're not a letter writer, and not everybody is, you can speak these updates to them at perhaps the graveside or a place of permanent memorialization, a scattering site, any special place that you associate and has meaning and purpose as it relates to them and to you. What about opportunities to cherish your feelings of meaning and purpose, both past and present? During the holidays, you might find it helpful to spend some time with family or friends to identify a cause that's related in some meaningful way to the person who's gone before you. Your time, your talents, your resources, they can go a long way toward making the difference in the lives of others. We all have gifts. Find out what your gifts are and put them out there into the world in honor of people that have gone before you. If the person who died was passionate, for example, about a certain activity or a cause, maybe you can find some way of supporting that cause, because in doing so, that's a beautiful way of cherishing. Explore the possibility of making mementos of the person's belongings. Things like quilts, pillows, stuffed animals, they can be made from the fabric of the clothing that belonged to the person who died. These often make such meaningful, irreplaceable gifts to others who've also loved this person. And then there's the opportunity to cherish your relationship with others, both, again, past and present. One idea that I find to be real helpful that I want you to consider is to create a thin place where you can cherish. You know, in the Celtic tradition, thin places, they were spots or spaces, places where the separation between the physical world and the spiritual world seemed tenuous. They're places where the veil between heaven and earth, between the holy and the everyday, they're so thin that when we're near them, we can intuitively sense the spiritual world, and we often end up feeling close to those who have died. Thin places may be places of worship or sacred sites. Oftentimes we find that being outside in nature, where water and land meet, or where sky and land come together, those can be sacred thin places for all of us. In the end, all that matters is that that place feels thin to you. Another idea is to hold a candle lighting ceremony sometime during the holidays. You gather people together in a circle around a table. You pass out candles to everybody. And to start, you light your candle and you can say something along the lines of like, we're here today, we've gathered here today to honor our love and our memories, which never die. Our love for this person, it's a flame we carry inside each one of us. Then what you do is you share something you loved about the person who died or something you remember that touched your heart. And then you invite the person next to you to do the very same. And you continue around that circle until everyone, each and every person, has the opportunity to share. You know, I hope you found these ideas on cherishing. There are a few of many that I attempt to share with people in my resource on how to cherish those that go before us. I hope you found that those I've selected to share with you at this time will be of help to you, help to your family, maybe share them with friends as well. The more people we can touch, the more we create divine momentum so that we mourn openly, honestly, and lovingly. Yes, to cherish is to celebrate and honor our love, which I believe is the greatest gift. We come into this world, hopefully we're nurtured, we give and receive love. And then when someone precedes us in death, we need to allow ourselves to mourn. Allow me to also gently remind you that cherishing, it isn't just a way of remembering and honoring and continuing to love someone who's gone before us. It could also be a very way of being. So invite yourself to cherish each new day and every encounter you have with people around you. Invite yourself to routinely place your attention on what truly matters. Invite yourself to unlock your vulnerability as you allow yourself to mourn well, so that you can very slowly, with no rewards for speed, eventually go on to live well and to love well. What an honor to share these ideas with you in ways that will allow you to fully live while still loving and honoring those who have died.